Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it is time for the Monday Q&As, so let's get to it. How to be sure if you're a responder or non-responder to creatine. Well, the placebo effect makes it hard to be 100% sure, and I'm going to get flamed for this, but this is what I base my own non-responder on. According to all the available data and meta-analysis that were done on this even 10 years ago, we're saying that you should experience in less than 2 months an 8% increase in your 1 rep max from supplementing with creatine and no other changes to your diet or routine. And that's what you should experience from it if it's working for you, because that's what is shown in studies. So for me, the first time I tried creatine, I think I was bench pressing about 275 and I was squatting just over 400 pounds. So when I took creatine, had I responded to it the way that studies said I should have, my bench press should have gone up to about 300 pounds and my squat should have gone up over 30 pounds. So something like a 405 squat should have jumped to a 435 squat with no change in diet or routine. And none of that happened for me. My squat and bench didn't go up at all the first month I was on creatine, nothing. So that would be a clear sign that you're a non-responder. Now, I want to state that I've never actually met anyone who responds to creatine the way the studies claim they do, but I don't really work with novice lifters very much. But me personally, I've never met an intermediate or advanced lifter who started using creatine who saw the results that studies say you're supposed to get. I haven't met one yet. So how do you tell or not? It's really difficult to say. Just look and see if your performance increases measurably, and then when you come off, if you lose that performance gain, or your performance completely stalls the week after you come off the creatine, and you had been making progress on it. That's what I would look at and try to determine if it works for you. But for me personally, I've never seen any effect at all. And I think that's a good way to judge if something like that is working, because the research says that if you respond to it, you should see an 8% increase in your maxes on average. And if you don't, then it's probably not working for you. All right, next question. Why is it that bodybuilders who lived in the 60s and 70s are still alive and well, and that bodybuilders who were big in the 80s and 90s are mostly dead? Actually, that's not true. A lot of your 80s guys are still alive, but you have a lot more of your 90s guys are starting to die off and have health problems. Well, the biggest thing there is the drug difference. You have to look at what started happening in the 80s and the 90s versus the 60s and 70s. The guys from the 60s and 70s just used anabolic steroids, and despite the propaganda in the US, we don't have valid information showing that most anabolic steroids are actually going to shorten your life. This is speculation at best, but the data itself, when we've studied it, it doesn't really seem to be provable that they're going to shorten life. So that being said, those people were taking drugs that aren't actually known or proven to shorten life. Therefore, most of them are still alive and healthy. And some of them are healthier than the mainstream population in their age category up in the 60s and 70s. But what you started seeing in the 80s, diuretics became really big. Diuretics absolutely can kill you. You can die from diuretics from one heavy dose of diuretics, which could be from a single show, could potentially damage your kidneys. It could cause problems for you. So that's one of your big ones right there, is organ damage from all the diuretics they used. And then in the 90s, insulin started getting really big. And injecting copious amounts of insulin can kill you right there the same day you do it. It can cause, due to the highly elevated insulin levels, much, much higher than you would ever get just from eating 1,000 grams of sugar a day. From injecting these supraphysiological doses, we know that ultra-high insulin levels can cause damage to organs. It can reduce insulin sensitivity in the body. It can predispose you to a number of health problems. And most of the guys from the 90s and on, that's why they're so big, is all the insulin use. It's not the steroids. The steroids didn't change. They have the same steroids Arnold and Franco Columbu and Frank Zane and all those guys had. That didn't change. That's why I roll my eyes when you see guys that big in natural bodybuilding. I just call natural bodybuilding insulin-free bodybuilding. It's full of steroids. But it's the insulin and the diuretics which are really to blame, and that's what's going to be killing these guys off. Those are your dangerous drugs. In addition to the fact that we see this a lot in pro wrestling, and then you're seeing this in bodybuilding, is training and things tend to cause them a lot of pain. They get hooked on painkillers because their joints and stuff hurt all the time, because let's be honest, most bodybuilders train like shit. If you watch most of them train, they know fuck all about biomechanics. They train in ways that are terrible for joints and connective tissue. So a lot of times they're in more pain than they need to be for the amount of training they do. And a lot of them get hooked on painkillers and stuff also. So that's also another factor in there. So I'm going to say that's your big three right there. It's diuretics, insulin, pain pills, and narcotics. That's why you're seeing the difference, and that's why you're seeing more of these guys die off, and that's why this current crop of bodybuilders we see now in the pros, they're probably not going to live a real long time. All right, next question. I've been eating 2,100 calories on the dot every day, but I haven't been losing weight. I'm at 18% body fat, and I was previously maintaining weight at 2,800. Water weight keeps fluctuating, but my weight hasn't dropped from 188 for the past 2 weeks. Should I drop more calories? A 2-week weight loss stall is not a good reason to drop calories. If your previous maintenance not that long ago was 2,800, it is almost physically impossible for you to have slowed your metabolism or lost enough muscle mass for you to have changed your BMR 700 calories. Now, a change in activity could do it. Less cardio, less moving around could do that, but 700 calories in base metabolic rate change, you would have to diet for over a year straight to pull that off. And if you've been building muscle, even then it wouldn't happen. If you were obese and weight training and building muscle, not going to happen. Now, you said below, a further comment further down, the same person said that they were weighing all their food out with a scale. I'll take their word for that. And I'm going to say that you're just dealing with transient fluid storage factors, and you're probably going to swoosh here soon. And you're going to get on the scale probably sometime next week. You're going to drop 3 pounds or so. That's what's going to happen. Just be patient with it. If after 3 weeks straight you still haven't lost a pound, I would rather see you up your physical activity, because for an active adult male going under 2,000 calories a day, while it will work, it will absolutely take fat off of you, it's going to make your mood and your hormones a bit of a mess, and a lot of people can't cope with that psychologically. So I don't really recommend that, because it's going to affect your social life, your work life, your school, whatever you're doing, potentially in a negative way. So I don't recommend that. I would wait at least 1 more week, wait 3 weeks to see if you swoosh. And if you don't, then up your physical activity, start adding in some more less cardio. Just get your caloric burn up. Let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go.